impacted the most. So this is on the west side of town. This is near the Carnes community, Hardin Valley, Bearden. That is where the potential rotation is showing up right now. Let me do that scope one more time and we'll see if we can see this a little bit better. It's right there. There it is. Just north of Hardin Valley. This is just north of Hardin Valley right now, moving toward the Carnes area. If you're in Carnes, you need to be in your safe place right now. If you're in Bearden, you need to be in your safe place. Also, if you're in Fountain City, you need to be in your safe place as well. I'll take this off so you can see it a little bit better. This is going to go straight toward downtown Knoxville. Looks like it's going to stay just north of I-40. So I-40 is about right here. It's going to stay just to the north of that. That is the potential rotation pushing toward the Carnes area. So hopefully you folks are in your safe place right now. Anderson, Knox, severe under a tornado warning. This is going through central and northern Knox and southern parts of Anderson County. This is actually the county line right here. So here's the Knox-Anderson County line. There's the rotation. Again, it's pushing off to the east. What are you seeing, Ben?
Yeah, checking out some of our TDOT cameras. Our main Knoxville camera, I think, must have got hit by a lightning strike. But what I'm going to do is pull up some of the cameras to give you guys some perspective. And Sam, if you could, sorry, when you're done with chatting with Casey about the weather, if you could check in with the Anderson emergency manager to see if they had anything near Clinton or Oak Ridge, I'd appreciate it. Thank y'all. Well, let me check out some of the weigh scales camera. So this is a torrential downpour. The trucks have actually pulled off, and you can see the winds swirling here. This is I-40 at Lovell. What I'm looking for is to see if we could see any kind of a tornado passing into the TDOT cameras. This is Watt Road. Ooh, yeah, you see the swirl right there. So the winds are really picking up on our live camera. What we're also looking for is the potential of a power flash. And then in Roane County at mile marker 356, some of the lanes are actually blocked from debris on roadways. So that's that exact same cell from right before there was a tornado warning. And actually some of the TDOT cameras are starting to go down a little bit. I'm not sure if they've been hit by the damage, but this is the weigh scales. A bunch of the trucks have pulled off. Ooh, let me take you back to that. Because the trees on the bottom right corner are swirling, and it's hard to tell if this is an accident or if it's just trucks pulling off. This is the view at Pellissippi. Traffic absolutely crawling. Walker Springs. Again, what we're looking is drier there. What we're looking for is potentially a tornado to cross over. And we have that active tornado warning as this moves to the east at 55 miles an hour. Earlier, when it was quieter in Knoxville, we said, hey, nobody's going to be completely out of this. And we do have that active tornado warning until 10:45. Anderson, Knox, and a little sliver of Sevier County, although right now it looks like it's probably going to stay north. But here is that track. I'm going to have to back it out a little because it's sped up, so we have to give us more room. But as we look for this track, this is turning into that classic mezzo low, which I mentioned a couple hours ago. Moving to the east at about, it's as far as I can go. Knoxville 1018, that's closer to downtown. French Broad River, where it becomes the Tennessee 1034. Kodak 1041, Dandridge 1055, English Mountain outside the warning. I am going to, before we get back to Spencer, I want to look inside to see if this has changed again. This is right along the Anderson-Knox line. You see that really, really hot pink color, really intense winds. If nothing else, this is going to cause some, at the very least, straight line wind damage. We're not seeing debris signatures yet, which is a good thing. It is closer to the radar, so we'd have a better chance. But that is the storm of the moment right now at the Anderson Knox line. This is in the Peak community. Edgewood Heights neighborhood. Bell Bridge, you need to be in your safe place. And same thing up at High School and Raccoon Valley Road. right over at Raccoon Valley Road right now, and then over to Emory Road and Merchants. Here's some of the big arteries in the north end of the county. Let's take a quick peek at that wind. Really intense over Karnes right now. So Karnes, and then as you cross over into Anderson County, you got to be in your safe place right now. Spencer was getting a chance to look. I just saw a note, 6,000 new customers from LCUB, North City Utility Board, are losing power. So that's just popping in, Spencer.
Yeah, Ben, power outage is going to be a big issue. We're talking about damaging wind and, again, this possible tornado. This is a look at the system in motion. So this is as it came out of Oak Ridge into parts of Knox County, so moving through southern parts of Anderson County right now. And what this is doing, it's bowing out, and on the northern end, we've got that rotation up here. So this is what we call, and I don't want to get too nerdy on you, a bookend vortice almost, where it spins on the northern end or the southern end of this little bow. So we have to watch both areas of this for that potential rotation. Again, if you're in Halls, this is going to come very close to you, 640 north side of Knoxville, north side of I-40. So here is I-40. Again, we're getting probably getting a pretty extensive damaging wind risk. This should come over the station here in just a second. In fact, I want to zoom in just a little bit tighter so that we can see which areas this is over here at. It looks like it's moving into Bearden as we speak, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter. And yep, this is knocking on the door. We should hear some pretty strong wind here very shortly at the station. This is moving into the Rocky Hill area. Again, if you are in Rocky Hill, Bluegrass, Cedar Bluff, this is damaging wind for you folks. Then as we zoom out and we go back to the north, you can see where the potential for that possible rotation is on the north side of this system. Again, this is approaching the Halls area right now. I'm going to turn the loop off real quick and get another view of that. Let's see if we can get the latest scan here of this possible tornado. Again, tornado warning continues until 10:45 for these areas. There is the rotation. It's just north of us here on I-40. So give you an idea, Bearden Hill, where we're at right now here at WVLT, is about right here. Here is the rotation. This is the possible tornado. It just moved through the north side of Hardin Valley. It's basically moving from west to east. So this is moving toward the north side of downtown. If there's anything there, there could be a possible tornado. It looks like the rotation's still rather broad, but there could be a possible tornado on the ground. We're trying to get any damage reports for you. But if you're in this area of North Knox right now up to Fountain City, you need to stay in your storm shelter in your safe place until this storm passes. Again, tornado warning continues until 10:45 for this cell, and then we have a severe thunderstorm warning that they had just issued a little bit earlier. But again, this is a tornado warning. Are we getting any reports, Ben, from anybody yet?
Not yet. I think Clinton Highway you got to watch really careful. I'll give you some markers here. Powell High School, Emory Road, right? Clinton Highway over by the Bells Campground Baptist Church, just passing by. Spencer's got our little magnifying glass that shows potential tornadic damage, and not seeing a huge what we call drop. But this is going to run basically parallel to Emory Road, soon to be at the North Knoxville Medical Center, then passing Dry Gap Pike within the next 5 minutes, the Bricky McLeod Elementary, then over to St. Albert the Great Catholic. You want to be putting your safe place in. So over on, I got Max 2 pulled up here, Danny. What we got is right by Nicholas Ball Park in Bonneville Estates. I've got the neighborhood on. This is where the potential tornado is. Edgewood Heights, Fountain City, Victor Ash Park, Shad Road, Amherst, quite a bit. And then the area that we were watching, Spencer and I together, is that foot basically, which is not tornadic, but that's that big wind that's in Rocky Hill. So we'll have some really high winds here in Bearden and Rocky Hill, even though the tornado threat is really up here. Oop, there it is. Amherst and Bell Bridge. And about an hour ago, some of our staff was saying, hey, we're starting to hear the thunder and lightning. And so we have that tornado warning. Let me back out. For Anderson, Knox, and Sevier, 10:45. No damage reports yet here, but there is considerable damage, it seems like, along part of Highway 127 in Cumberland County. And I'm not sure if you can hear the rain on our mics yet, but you probably will hear pretty soon because the rain's only going to get more intense. Spencer, while you're doing that, I'm going to see if we can get some of these other traffic cameras to see if we might be able to pick up as this crosses 640. We might be able to see perhaps like a transformer flash or something. So I'll send it back over to you on Max 1.
I've got a track on this for those that are ahead of this line. If you are well ahead of this is moving into downtown Knoxville right now. So along I-40, this is moving into Halls. It's also the southern end of it moving into Maryville. So if you're down in Sevier County, we're watching for you folks as well. But again, a tornado warning continues for Knox County, Sevier County, and Anderson County until 10:45. Here's a look at the latest timeline. These storms now moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So South Doyle, 10:24, Seymour, 10:37, downstream at Kodak, 10:53, and Sevierville at 11:01. That's if it continues at the current speed. Again, this is a strong storm with damaging wind and a possible tornado. So we're watching two different things here with this cell. And let me clear this off. And Ben, have you got some of those cameras pulled up from around the traffic cams?
Yeah, let me let's see, 640 Clinton Highway. This is kind of where I was mentioning. The rain's actually just stopped there, so we need to go a little farther east into East. Wondering where we could see it. But the lightning's really picking up at Cherry Street. One of our producers who lives downtown, he said the lightning is insane right now. Unfortunately, our camera has. I don't know if it got hit by lightning or what, but we are seeing that lightning pick up here. I'm going to go into the 640 loop. We're doing this here live, so bear with me, guys. But 640 east of Broadway should be really picking up in intensity right about now, if it'll work for us. Okay, that one's not working. So some of these may have been hit by power outages, as there's quite a bit of those. This is top of Spaghetti Junction. 75 at 275, and then 275 just north of downtown. This is where the wind is really going to pick up in intensity. So yeah, tons and tons of lightning. Not seeing any power flashes, although there are numerous power outages around. But just a wide shot of what we're looking at. There is that active tornado warning till 10:45 in Knoxville. Heading generally north of downtown, although the whole city is in it. But Powell over to Fountain City, Maloneyville, Holston River, right there is that area of greatest concern for the potential tornado, although certainly not the only one. And thankfully, no CC drop, which is good news. But very intense winds over Powell right now. Next up, Fountain City, Emory Road, and Shad Road. Spencer.
Yeah, so we're watching the tornado warned storm here in Knox County right now that includes a sliver, just a small sliver of Sevier County. This is the northwestern section of Sevier County. I think the rotation is actually going to the east of that and north of that, actually. Now, if you're in portions of Blount County, so Maryville, all the way down, you have high winds coming in right now. No official warning for you folks south of Maryville, but in the north side of Blount County, we have the severe thunderstorm warning. This is where it's bowing out right here along I-40. We've already heard the wind and the rain coming through here at the station. You can see Oak Ridge, Clinton, the worst of it's moved to your east. There's another little cell developing behind this near Kingston. We'll have to watch out for. Loudon, first alert to some potential high wind with that. But this is the only tornado warning in the area right now. And if you are west of Knoxville, so if you're in the west side of town, in fact, let me zoom in. I can probably go ahead and give you guys the all clear because I think that this storm is going to continue pushing on well to the east of you now. So let me zoom into Knox County here. Again, if you are in portions of Oak Ridge, the severe risk is over for you. Tornado risk is off to the east. The circulation, if we have anything, it's right over here between Halls and Knoxville. North Knox, and then back towards Strawberry Plains. So this is heading into Strawberry Plains. You folks right on the edge of that tornado warning. Oak Ridge, it looks like it's clearing out now. Still have very heavy rain along and south of I-40, but the wind risk, at least the highest wind risk, has moved to the east of places like Farragut, Hardin Valley. So you folks, you are all clear from the main part of the tornado or the high wind risk. Still some heavy rain, gusty wind, intense lightning with these. Again, Halls, you may get a little small hail up here in this part of the storm. There also could be a little small hail down here in Kingston as well. So those are kind of the areas that we're watching right now. Again, and I'll move this off. Tornado warning continues until 10:45 for portions of Knox, Anderson, and Sevier County. If you're just tuning in to us, we're typically on the CW at this time, but right now I think we're on both tracking this possible tornado that's moving through really right over central Knox County right now. And again, watching the radar, looks like we've got some power outages. In fact, very loud. My wife is just telling me that the power is out in Hardin Valley. So we have power outages across portions of Knox County right now. We're going to continue to track those. I think we're going to have a lot of power outages with this because of the potential of high wind that we've seen with it. I'm not as concerned, and I don't know if you agree with this, Ben, but I don't see the biggest threat right now as that tornado. I think it is damaging wind.
Yeah, very, very small area of potential tornadic activity from this. But, often damaging winds can be even stronger than a weak tornado, which is why we say, treat them very similar. We just had the worst of the rain wrap up. I'm updating live the KUB outage map. Still not seeing a ton, although we still have debris on blocking some lanes on I-40 east of Kingston. Our Sam Luther got back with me. He said no damage or injuries out of Oak Ridge. Anderson County Sheriff says the same county-wide. Very strong winds. LCUB, that's the Lenore City Utility Board, was reporting 6,000 fresh power outages. So I'm going to update the KUB map one more time. Yeah, still, this is real time. So, we're not expecting to see it update live, but power outages are pretty likely, I would imagine, out in the Hardin Valley area. And still some big winds off of Gallagher and some of our other areas. But right under where Spencer has the view, under the N and the O and the X in the word Knoxville, that little tail is likely going to produce some more power outages from that straight line wind.
Yeah, that's right. We are looking at that area, and what Ben is showing right now is that potential for that line to continue pushing on through. I was looking at the velocity on this. This is wind going away from the radar. This is wind going toward. And again, you're seeing some higher winds in these brighter colored areas. We're also watching in the midst of all this, if there's any, there might be a little bit of circulations, small, tiny circulations within this, but overall, this looks more like a damaging wind risk than anything else right at the moment. Now, let me clear this off. Again, you could have a spin up along this line anywhere as it moves east. So even though they haven't extended the tornado warning yet, Dandridge, Newport, you folks, first alert to the potential for at least damaging wind at the very least with this, and maybe still that potential for a tornado. But as I zoom in, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, this is all coming toward you, Sevierville, portions of Sevier County. So again, you're here you are, and here is the big line of storms. This is the damaging wind, the leading edge of the damaging wind. There was some earlier to the north of Knoxville, and now that looks like that's kind of becoming as little less organized, a little messier on radar. But the area that we're really, really watching closely is that area that's bowing out between Knoxville and Maryville right now that's pushing to the east. There could still be a little something along this line, though. Again, I keep seeing this little inflow notch area right here. Let's zoom in a little bit tighter on this, because I think that area on the southeast side, do you see what I'm talking about there, Ben? There's a little couplet there. And a lot of times with these lines, you get little spin ups along that leading edge there. So that's South Doyle. Again, Boyd's Creek, Kodak, you're in the path. Seymour, Sevierville, you're in the path of the strong storms and the high wind as well. So again, we're watching this wholesale for you, and we're going to stick with you until the warnings expire here for the next at least 30 minutes or so.
Hey,
Ben?
Spence, I do want to, what do we get here? Was this, did they just update it? Yeah, I think they might have taken some of the back out of the tornado warning. So if my phone goes off, it is on silent, but obviously the tornado warning overwrites it. I want to look down here at Madisonville, the Monroe County storm. This is the one that was previously tornado warned, and it's still got another of what you heard Spencer called a couplet. So very intense winds inside that over Madisonville right now. Look, not a tornado warning, but I want you to be in your safe place along Highway 411 right now. This has got a wicked look to it, just passing Christiansburg, Hopewell Mill, Fagan, kind of heading to Vonore and Hiawassee College. Let me see if there's any kind of debris. I don't know. What do you think about this, Spencer? Can you see this?
Ooh.
That might have been a little debris.
Yeah. Can you go back in the? Can you go back and look at the velocity and see if that matches up?
So this is near Madisonville. Let me go to SRV here. We're kind of using Weather Geek talk, but yeah, I mean, definitely some rotation there.
Hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say, but there might have been a little bit of damage. So if you're in between Sweetwater and Madisonville, and you had some damage around 10:10 to 10:15, or at least things falling, that was an earlier warned storm. So it's possible that that might even be debris from all the way past Athens that's finally coming back down, which, you know, is still pretty dangerous. That's a tiny little warning. Over to Madisonville, let's take you to this. From Monroe, another 6 minutes. Still some pretty wicked winds inside that, although it has weakened over the last 4 to 5 minutes, which is what we want to see as this enters an area that saw it. But yeah, we're still watching this tornado warning. Likely more of a straight line wind threat for Anderson, Knox, and Sevier. And Danny, if you'll come back to me, because we haven't gotten to talk enough about this. This is tornado safety, knowing where to go. We're getting a ton of lightning videos. And we want you guys to be able to safely see the storms. But right now is when we want you probably not taking videos around Knoxville. After would be great once it's safe. But having your safe plan in effect, closets, bathrooms, staircases under the stairs, and especially the basement. Got a lot of basements around Knoxville. We did just see a new power outage around the Powell area. And we still have that threat of those really intense winds through the rest of tonight. You know, we're still at a level 3, even though a lot of the tornado threat has ended. We also have confirmed damage along Highway 127. Our Sam Luther and obviously our anchor Casey Willis have been working the phones along with our team. They're finding out about possible structural damage along Breckenridge in Cumberland County, as there was possibly up to 3 tornadic circulations in Cumberland County. So far in Sneedville, Morristown, Newport's been pretty quiet, and it's starting to maybe rain a little bit. But you will get these same storms a little bit later on, so we'll likely see the tornado, at least the severe thunderstorm warnings coming back out, and a new power outage of a couple hundred in Monroe and McMinn. Let's see. Yeah, some ham radio reports, which I don't really want to go over right now, but we have a ton of straight line wind damage heading towards Seymour, South Doyle, eventually over towards Kodak. This is East Knox County, Holston Hills right now. You're under the gun, as is the Asbury community. So this section right here, not as much of a tornado signature, still some rotation for sure, but it's a more broad rotation. But widespread power outages, and I'd encourage folks, hey, the lightning is scenic, but probably want to be in your safe place, because a lot of straight line wind potential with this as well.
Yeah, Ben, we're still tracking that bigger part of the lines right now. Seymour, Boyd's Creek, Dandridge, Douglas Lake, Newport, you are all on the line and in the path of this. If we have anything, it's damaging wind in these areas. Again, this is the tornado warning box right now. that still continues for portions of Knox County into an extreme northwestern part of Sevier County. The main rotation again would be right here, but it looks like more of a damaging wind risk than anything else. So I'm trying to give you guys a heads up. If you are in Dandridge or Newport, you need to stay weather alert. And of course, you may have some high winds up to 60 or 70 miles per hour that can cause power outages. So there could be power outages really from Morristown to Newport, Dandridge to Boyd's Creek, and then down toward Seymour as well. Wallen, this storm is moving into your area right now. So as we take a closer look at that part of the storm, I'll clear this off. And as we take a closer in view, you can kind of see what these storms are still holding together and maintaining their strength this evening. So if you're in any of these areas, you still need to make sure that you're paying close attention to all of these warnings as they do continue in these areas. This is zooming out a little bit more. We'll clear this track off. There is the main line. I'll actually draw on this so you can get an idea. This is the leading edge of the line right here. And they've just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Newport, Dandridge, and Morristown. So what they're thinking is this tornado warning, they're probably going to let it expire in 15 minutes or less, but they will continue with the severe thunderstorm warning for Dandridge, Newport that will likely go for the next 45 minutes. So this is the leading edge right here. It's moved through Maryville, it's moving through Knoxville, it's moved through Maynardville. We have another kind of secondary damaging wind possibility here between Kingston and Loudoun. So you folks stay weather alert for some higher wind gusts. Then down toward Madisonville and Athens, we have those storms that are on the southern end. But if you're in Sevier County and in portions of Cott County, all the way up to Morristown, really Morristown and Dandridge, you folks are going to see some pretty high winds come through your area here in the next 30 to 45 minutes as this storm continues to move off to the east. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that they are now going to extend for portions of Knox County and then stretching off to the east. This includes eastern Knox, north central Blount, Jefferson County, northwestern Cox, southwestern Granger, northern Sevier, and southwestern Hamlin County until 11:30. So severe thunderstorm warning for this big complex of storms that will go until 11:30 this evening. So this is at least another hour of possibility of damaging wind and maybe some power outages as well. Ben?
Yeah, I'm also looking up, don't want to forget about you guys. Danny, if we can come out real quick on the show, folks, what we're watching here. Harlan and Rose Hill, some really big winds right there. You can see that Boeing segment that showed up pretty well. So I want to put a fresh track on this. Our Sam Luther, while I draw this, also just getting off the phone with the Knox County Rescue Squad. They say no reports of rescues yet or too many calls coming in, but I have seen the KUB outage map go up. But this is heading into Harlan 1047, Rose Hill 1103, and then over to Norton and much of the Cumberland Gap. We're going to get rid of this Doppler thing, this scope we call it, and track down here. Now this is that storm that was just in Madisonville, and it's moving towards the Blount County line. No warning on it right now, but it looks like it's redeveloping some rotation on the back end. Not necessary to get a tornado warning, but some really high winds are heading in towards the Citico Creek area. You see that? That is really intense. Straight line winds, maybe a wake low trying to form, which doesn't really look like a whole lot on a radar, but when you dive into this, you can get these super intense winds as the bulk of the rain actually comes through. And so I imagine this is a wake low trying to form that we could get some damaging winds heading into Cherokee National Forest and some of the communities east of Madisonville near Citico Creek. Still have that tornado warning for 13 and a half minutes, and we'll keep you updated. By the way, we're now just on CW and Facebook Live. If you wanted to see some regularly scheduled program, we have that for you on the CW now. But Strawberry Plains, we have that really intense wind heading your way. And then really going to dive in here. Machina Heights, the French Broad River, Kimberlin Heights, this is right by Johnson University. Riverdale, really intense winds have just passed by the Asbury community. That's where the Cruise Farm barn is. You can see that knife edge right there. This is heading away from the radar. Kimberlite Heights, Johnson area, really intense wind, just passing through Seymour, then Oak City. Boyd's Creek, you're up next. I would strongly encourage you just blast the TV, get inside if you can. Let's look at this new severe thunderstorm warning. And yeah, that's for the Harlan area. That's what I was just looking at, really intense winds there. Now we go back into Knoxville. Okay, we're tracking a bunch of different sources here. Let me actually look at the tornado watch, because a lot of you have been waiting for that to go away before you head to bed. So this is our area-wide alerts map on our computer. I think I've asked quite a lot of it. But we have seen the tornado watch drop now for Wayne County, Kentucky, Cumberland, and Fentress. And the Weather Service in Nashville is saying, hey, their severe threat is over up through Crossville. So they're preparing actually for some damage surveys tomorrow. We're still in it for the Scott County area, although I think you'll be dropped because we'll see county by counties dropped. And so it shouldn't be too much longer before you're in the clear for Scott and Morgan counties along with McCreary. And let me show you what we're talking about. Very soon, you will be totally in the clear for Scott and Morgan. In fact, I would say the severe threat is basically over for you guys if you're wanting to go to bed. But still have that tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning that, Spencer mentioned leapfrogged out in front of that. I'm just looking at the power outage map right now. This is why we suggested having your phones charged, because we knew that there would be numerous power outages. LCUB, is reporting 4,300 customers. That's a lot more people without power. We have 2,500 plus in Fentress County without power. That's from Volunteer Energy. Morgan County, thankfully, they're doing okay. Plateau is reporting quite a few. And the KUB outages we're mostly seeing are up in Powell. Again, this is the second time a lot of you guys in Powell have lost the power. But we still have a tornado warning. Let me move it just a little bit there. Although the big threat right now is that damaging straight line winds, which is heading towards Kodak, the French Broad River, let's say like House Mountain, Ruggles Ferry. Just checking here before I go back over to Spencer about potential damage to see if we can see this threat ended. Wow, a bunch of flooding pictures just coming in from earlier today in the Nashville area. We still have that flooding threat around Crossville, even though the tornado and straight line threat is wrapping up. And then more winds are trying to pump back in towards Lenoir City. So let me put a fresh track on that. Not sure we'll see a severe thunderstorm warning yet on this, but this is probably moving east about 35 to 45. Hardin Valley, another round right on your doorstep. Maryville at 11:02. It's pouring down rain there, I know, but it's going to get heavier with the wind. And then Seymour at 11:25. So multiple rounds tonight. The timeline hasn't changed. Most of this will be out of the region by 11:25. Yeah, thankfully that doesn't look quite as severe. So you look behind the scenes, but still tracking that tornado warning for another 10 minutes or so, Spencer.
That's right, Ben. Still continuing to watch that leading edge of storms in the tornado warning box. This is the French Broad River right here. This is I-40. There's Asbury. You can see Carter and up toward Holston River. This is all tracking toward Kodak right now, where they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning into those areas as you go back toward Piedmont, Alder Branch. So any of those areas beyond really the Carter community, it looks like they're just going to continue with the severe thunderstorm warning, and I've not seen any signs that they're going to let this go as of really before 10:45 yet. So we're continuing with the tornado warning for about another 9 minutes. And again, I-40, this is coming out of Knoxville, is the area that we're watching closely there. Again, this line of storms looks more like a wind event than anything else. I was looking at the latest on the velocity for the tornado threat, and just not seeing anything at all along this line. So that is good news. It's good news for the folks still under the tornado warning. We're not forgetting about you here in Knox County, but the sign of rotation has definitely diminished. Now there's some weak rotation along this line as it's pushing through, and you can kind of see it here in portions of East Knox and then stretching back into northern parts of Sevier County. But again, the area that we're watching for the possible tornado warning is this area. I'll just circle it because I know it gets kind of hard to see some of this on the radar. Sometimes it looks like a big blob, but it's right here. Just circled it in yellow. That's the tornado warning. Now the tornado risk has passed in places like Knoxville, downtown Knoxville. No more tornado risk for you. I know the tornado warning is continuing here, but if there was anything, it's going to be along this leading line. So if you're in Halls, really from Halls into North Knox, you're all clear as far as the tornado risk. If you're in Clinton, Hardin Valley, all the way down now Bearden, here in Bearden, we are all clear from any tornado risk with this. And likely, I think we all will be as this line pushes east. Now, there still could be a brief spin up along it. You can't rule it out with any thunderstorm complex like this, but the signs are telling me that this is going to be more of a damaging wind risk as we go through the rest of the night. So Dandridge, still looking for damaging winds there possible. Newport up to Morristown, all the way down to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, all those areas still could possibly see that risk for damaging wind. But right now, if we were going to see, and I'll clear this off, if we were going to see any kind of tornado risk at all, it would be right along this leading edge right here as it's moving toward Dandridge and Newport. So if we see anything, and I don't think we're going to, let me clear that back off real quick, and you can see that there's really just a lot of heavy rain, a ton of lightning with this. The lightning count is just tremendous on these storms tonight. So we've seen a lot of that. In fact, I'll just turn it on real quick so you can see, look at all the lightning. It just stretches all the way back through Loudoun County. As we zoom out a little bit more, again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings all the way up that extend up to Harlan, Kentucky. This whole line is now pushing quickly to the east. I think let's put this on the last hour and we'll put this in motion. And you can just kind of get a better feel for the fact that this should be out of here in a pretty solid amount of time over the next hour or two. We'll see it pushing well to the east, especially over the next couple of hours. Look at the Cumberland Plateau, already starting to see drier conditions as that last batch of rain moves through. So already seeing the back edge of this, Jamestown to Crossville, but Gatlinburg, Morristown, you folks on the leading edge of this, all the way up to the Tazewell community, you folks are seeing these storms still rolling through right now. Madisonville and along I-75. I-40 east of Knoxville, it's going to be pretty messy the next couple of hours with this batch of heavy rain moving through. Any reports coming in yet, Ben, that we're seeing?
Yeah, Dan, if you can come back over here on Max 2 with me. We're tracking a possibly soon issued tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag. This is Harlan, Kentucky, over to Black Joe. There's definitely some rotation up here as well. A very intense line. This is almost guaranteed to have at least straight line wind damage. So for our friends in southeastern Kentucky, we have not forgotten about you. Let me show you what it looks like. Ooh, even stronger right there just to the east of Harlan, back in some of those hollers. But that severe thunderstorm warning goes for Harlan, Leslie, Letcher, and Perry till 11:15. Spencer mentioned the messy roads. We actually have quite a bit of accidents. There's 2 fresh ones. So while we're looking at this, I'm going to work behind the scenes and pull up a couple of those. You might have seen the notification on your phone, which is why we said, hey, even though it may not be severe, which it was, may want to stay off the roads, and so I'm going to pull this up. Let's see. Paper mill. So we have these accidents causing quite a bit of delays. Let me take you here. I'm trying to find it on our camera. But yeah, there it is. So what we've got is these vehicles spun out. They've started to right it, and so it's blocking numerous lanes. There's also a wreck back by Bridgewater. So a lot of the rain is wrapped up, but this is also causing substantial delays. This is another truck pulled off, and then we're looking to the east of Bridgewater, I think is where the other one was. But anyways, there's 2 big accidents. There's also a lane block at the 356 mile marker in Rowan County. I think that's going east. That's for debris on the roadways. If you're just joining us, maybe you're getting into Newport, just got the warning for yourself. We also have that damage along Highway 127 in Cumberland County. Possible structural damage in Breckenridge in Cumberland County. Dunbar Road south into Cumberland County near the Bledsoe line was impassable because of high water. Still have that tornado warning, although Spencer and I both think it's more of a straight line threat. This is pushing towards Dandridge. So Dandridge, you're now in that warning. Strawberry Plains and Kodak. I got some messages about the old Smoky Stadium. Let's put a couple of different tracks on this. So moving east-northeast at about 45, go as far as we can. Our Sam Luther, if you're just joining us, making those calls along with our digital team. Josh and Casey in the back working hard too. No rescue squad rescues yet, but now the accidents are coming in. Jefferson City 1054, Bainbury 1117, then pushing back in to Greene County. Greene County still has about 1,000 power outages from earlier today when that first wave came in. This is where I think the strongest winds are south of Kodak along Winfield Dunn. No cameras right there, at least not that we can use, but Sevierville 1050. So Winfield Dunn within the next 7 minutes, it is going to be pumping with wind. Cedar Bluff, this is not the Knoxville one, this is the Sevier County Cedar Bluff. English Mountain, it always gets really hairy up there. That's 1119, and the Newport at 1132. I'm going to check one more time the outage map. KUB is now reporting a secondary wave of outages that happened in the South Doyle area, along with perhaps like more like the Westmoreland area too, like just south the Lions View Pike near North Shore. That's the area that we were watching for that straight line. That's this area that's moved on through Seymour. So I would expect more outages to start to fill in through Seymour, and then eventually probably heading towards Sevierville, Kodak, and Winfield Dunn Parkway, or the Parkway as we call it. I want to take you up here to Tazewell. Haven't forgotten about you guys. This storm's not quite as strong as the one in Knox County, but I do want to put a track on this. Moving to the east at about 45. So Tazewell, 2 minutes out. Thornhill. That's actually where we had the EF1 tornado back in a couple months ago that hit the lumber plant. And then Will Puckett and I were up there. Sneedville, 1123. So Washburn, Sir Gowensville, Rogersville, Sneedville, all of that in the severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County also in that. I'm trying to get it to show this Claiborne warning. Sometimes it doesn't want to play ball, but there it is. Claiborne, Granger, Knox, and Union until 11:15. Getting some updates on the lightning from some of you guys. Yeah, tremendous light show out there. We've got like all these computers here if you're wondering what's going on. Numerous trees down around McGee-Tyson, but no structural damage the Weather Service is reporting. So for our news folks in the back, that's new information that numerous trees down around McGee-Tyson. This area is, I think, what we'll have to really watch going ahead. This is Alder Branch, just passing through Boyd's Creek. You see this bowing out segment? Let me get up here and show you what we're talking about. This bowing out line, it's pushing right towards downtown Sevierville. So we could have some more wind damage right there. Let's put a fresh track on this. This is moving. I need to back this up. Give ourselves some more room to work. Pushing to the east at about 55. And so Sevierville, you've only got a couple more minutes to get into your safe place because you're likely going to have some straight line wind damage here, which is now the bigger threat now that the tornado warning is gone. English Mountain 1119, Harrisburg at 11, and then Sevierville just a couple minutes out. Let's back up and show you that system heading into Blount County. We're likely going to get a black screen here, but sometimes the Look Rock camera will capture the lightning. Yep, so it is a black screen. Obviously, it's in the middle of the night, but that circulation is heading there. Right on time. Most of you are going to be in the clear. So let me, before we go back to Spencer, let's show you what we're talking about. Campbell County, as far as a severe threat, what's that?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Campbell County looking good. Morgan County looking good. Scott, you're okay as far as additional severe threats for Cumberland, and then Ray and Meigs. But we are tracking numerous reports of damage and thousands of power outages, some of which may take a while to fix because there's still all that lightning. But still have that severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30 for Granger, Jefferson, Knox, and Sevier. And seeing those new damage reports towards McGee-Tyson, which makes sense given the new power outages down towards the South Doyle community. Yeah, Spencer, you see anything?
No, not really. The folks in Jefferson County, I've seen a few asking about Jefferson County right now. And again, Ben's been talking about it, but you can see this area, Dandridge, Sevierville, and then back toward Newport. Again, if you're in these areas, this is the strongest wind, especially stretching back toward Jeff City. So if you're in any of those areas, still till 11:30, again, it's only 10:48 right now, so this is a pretty long-lasting severe thunderstorm warning. I think the leading edge will make it over to Newport well before 11:30, but again, this area, especially as you head along 81, stretching to the northeast up toward Greene County, that's where you're going to get into some of the heavier rain and storms. And again, I was watching just this area while Ben was watching, especially that leading edge going into Sevierville. That looks pretty intense with the little S curve on it right there. So we'll kind of have to keep an eye on that for any potential spin up along that portion of the line. But Ben, they have let go of the tornado warning. We just have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings continuing to the east. If you were on the back edge of this, especially back toward to the west, I'm gonna do kind of what he did. I'm gonna go down this line in a similar fashion here. We'll put this on now, and let's just go down here and draw on this, and let's show you. So this is the back edge of the worst of the storms right here. So if I zoom in, and this is just, so we still have the storms, still have the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Morristown, Tazewell, Newport, and then stretching into northern Sevier County, especially down here in Sevierville. You folks getting some high wind right there. But for the folks back to the west, just giving you a quick all clear. If you are in Middlesboro, Maynardville, Log Mountain, La Follette, Clinton, Oak Ridge, really on the north side of Knox, Halls, Fountain City, as you go down toward Kingston, and any of those areas to the west, severe risk is pretty much over for you all the way back to Wartburg and Jamestown and Oneida and up toward Williamsburg. So everybody west of that yellow line is all clear right now. If you are east of that yellow line, you still have a severe risk ongoing for the next hour or so. Again, this is pushing into the Sneedville area, Morristown, Newport, Gatlinburg, Maryville, and then down into portions of Blount County. This is already exiting parts of Blount County. We still have some heavy rain and wind in the southern part of Knox County, but it's almost all the way through there. So if you're in any of these areas east here, you still have about an hour to go maybe. If you are west, you are done for the night as far as severe risk. Still some heavy rain and lightning in spots, but this is the main line coming through tonight. As of 10:51, we have that potential for, again, a few more severe thunderstorm warnings along and ahead of this line. But for the most part, we are seeing the severe risk exit on to the east. Now, there still could be a spin up or two along this line, so that's something we'll need to watch closely. But Ben, I'm encouraged by the fact that these don't look near as really rotation-wise, they don't look as bad.
And I wonder too, Spencer, if some of that is we had those earlier storms that were near Morristown that may have taken a little bit of the heat out of the atmosphere. Over on Max 2, for the folks in the back, Spencer and I were on the same page here. We just had the tornado watch dropped for almost all of our Kentucky counties except Bell and Harlan. You're out of the tornado watch now for Fentress, Scott, Morgan, and Cumberland. Very likely to see it dropped here for Campbell, Anderson, and Loudoun counties, along with Ray and Meg. So what we're going to see here in a second, I imagine, is that this whole area will be cut. Right now, it's not official yet, but I would say, in the most part, if you're west of this second yellow line, you're okay for bet. You're in the clear, right? Now, I wouldn't go out driving and looking for damage because there's still likely to be standing water, but the tornado watch, as Spencer and I have been mentioning, we only expect it to go until about midnight. I think there's very, very low chance that it's left anywhere through 2 a.m., at least in our local counties. But the tornado watch has been dropped for many. I just put that out on social media. Let me go back here and take this track off. The area that is the greatest concern is actually this Sevierville area, Alder Branch. It's trying to pop back up, that little thumb thing right there. That area we'll have to watch because it could happen that we get another tornado warning right there. Alder Branch and Sevierville. I think Spencer and I are probably thinking the same thing, but let's see. I don't know. Don't like the look of that earlier, that little drop here a few minutes ago. Hard to say exactly what that is, but definitely some very high winds going to cause some damaging winds, damage to trees, I should say, to the east side of Sevierville. So that means up next, Milliken Grove. Hopefully you're in your safe place right now. Fair Garden and Sandy Ridge. You need to be in your safe place. The Cedar Bluff of Sevier County and Harrisburg, you got a couple seconds to get away from the windows because it's going to get really windy. And then over to English Mountain. You see these weird kind of blobs. That's because of the terrain affecting the radar. But no doubt right here, over by Alder Branch, real intense winds. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a spin-up tornado. It would be tough to warn, but I'm just giving you the first alert that, hey, let's head for our safe place. And now actually the news scan is even tighter here near Alder Branch, heading up towards the Sevier Jefferson line. This is pretty far south of I-40, pretty far south of Dumplin Valley. A lot of terrain change here, so it makes it tough. Yep, so the Weather Service says, keeping an eye on that cell northeast of Sevierville. It's trying to start spinning. That's their way of telling us, don't be surprised if we get a tornado warning. And then it's hard to say if that's any damage from earlier, but that is trying to reform here for sure, Spencer.
Yeah, and we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. We're going to start WVLT News at 11 here in about 5 minutes, so we'll be jumping into the newscast here shortly, and we want to stick with you for a little bit longer just because we do have the severe thunderstorm warning that continues to the east. And again, we've had a damaging wind risk all evening long with this, certainly a tornado risk, but look at all the storm reports. I posted all the storm reports so far. These are just reports, and again, look at all the tree damage or at least wind damage reports coming in. We've had it in Knox County. We've had it up to the east of Jamestown, near Crossville, all the way to the north of Chattanooga. We had that line that came through Morristown earlier. This was from the afternoon batch of storms that were pretty nasty as they moved through that area. So again, we have seen our share of damaging wind reports. We told you damaging wind would be the main risk with this activity, and that's certainly been the case. We still have that weak tornado risk on the leading edge of it, but it has weakened as far as any kind of big tornado risk since earlier tonight, and we're seeing much less in the way of tornado warnings. Look at all the storm reports that go all the way back to Middle Tennessee. I have the line still drawn on here, so again, if you're east of the line, if you're in Morristown, parts of Sevier County, Cocke County, stretching all the way back down into Blount County. You folks are still under the gun for this damaging wind, but if you're on the western side of this line, so on the left side, if you're looking at it, La Follette all the way down into Knox now. We're starting to see the worst of it push on to the south and east. So I'd say all clear for areas of I-75 from Williamsburg to La Follette all the way down to Knoxville. Then as you go back toward Crossville along I-40, looking like you're also all clear. So trying to keep you folks that are behind the storms updated so you can, yes, sleep well tonight. I know there's a lot of anxiety for a lot of folks because we've had so much severe weather, not only this spring season, but we've had a lot of overnight storms in the past, and a lot of folks some folks get a lot of anxiety from this. So we just want to kind of calm your anxiety a little bit if you're to the west. If you're to the east, yes, you still have a wind threat, but the good news is the tornado threat looks really, really low. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on closely. But this batch of storms, of course, it's going over the radar site right now, so it's kind of playing with what it looks like on the radar, but you can still see it's just a big messy cluster, and this is a lot better than individual cells, or certainly this line doesn't look as organized as it once did, so that's also good news. But Ben, we're watching this closely. Again, we're going to start the newscast here in just a little bit, and I'm not seeing anything on this. Are you seeing any more of a tornado risk with this at all right now?
Yeah, right now, I mean, it still looks like that area near Alder Branch over to English Mountain is going to bear watching. But some good news as we come up at the top of the hour. We're going to start WVLT News here shortly, so we'll get some new viewers. But I mentioned that this would be dropped here soon, but you're now in the clear of a tornado watch and severe threat. You're safe to go to bed for, not everybody, but Campbell County, Anderson County, Loudoun, Roane, Ray, Meigs, all these counties have been dropped. The green is still that flood watch and that flooding threat, especially around Crossville, but you're all in the clear here. Next up, I imagine that Knox County, Union, and Loudoun will be dropped along with McMinn. That's the next obvious wave. And by the way, I don't think that anybody has to stay up until 2 o'clock, barring something completely unexpected. The first alert is still 8 to 12. We do have those 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, the threat of tornadoes has mostly gone away, except for this system that's now well northeast of Sevierville heading into Jefferson County. Apart from that, it's that damaging wind threat. So let's move you up here. This computer, sometimes the gremlins get it. But as we come up on the top of the hour, WVLT News normally starting right around now, still in that continuous coverage for these storms, which do have that history of producing damage, thousands of power outages around the Knoxville area. LCUB, Lenore City Utility Board, reporting more than 4,300. KUB 1,479 is the live update, and across the state of Tennessee, 16,000 plus power outages. That's a little delayed. Our biggest area of concern right now at this top of the hour is right over Fair Garden and Sandy Ridge, just passing Milliken Grove. Again, if you're just joining us, we'll back this out a little bit to show you where you are in the clear. We know that top of the hour, new folks coming in. Widespread flooding rains. Tornado watch dropped for almost all of our folks in Kentucky, along with La Follette. Let's see if we drop a couple more. So it looks like, Spencer, they're going to go strong storm tag for this severe one as opposed to anything else. But don't see any more reports of damage yet. Our Sam Luther's been working the phones. We do have that damage along 127, possible structural damage along Breckenridge, according to the emergency manager. No reports that we've seen after talking to the Anderson County Sheriff and the police in Oak Ridge, the city. Also, as of last check, the Knox County Rescue Squad hasn't made any rescue, so hopefully everybody getting the first alert well ahead of time. Spencer?
All right, Ben, I think we're going to start WVLT News here in just a second at 11. I just wanted to show you tornado risk is over past this yellow line. We are still tracking this line to the east. Severe storms, 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings continue east of Knoxville. We'll continue to watch it. We'll have updates during the show, but let's get over to Casey and get the latest on any storm reports and the rest of the news of the night.
From your local trusted news source, WVLT News starts now.
Well, Spencer and Ben, thank you for your continued coverage tonight. We'll get back to them in just a few minutes as they are still tracking some of that severe weather. We want to show you what we are gathering on our end, what we've seen so far. Thanks for sticking with us for WVLT News tonight. I'm Casey Wheelis. We've already had several tornado, thunderstorm warnings today. Some of you sharing photos and videos tonight. We have this strong storms, lightning from our studios right here in the Bearden area. Then we have more video from around East Tennessee. If we can take a look at the next video, more lightning. Courtney Russell sending that in. So we've had a lot of downpours and a lot of just heavy winds and damaging winds that Ben and Spencer have been telling us about. So that's some of that's happening there. If we can move on to the next video to see what that is, you're seeing, yep, more lightning. This is in the Carnes area. And that is security camera footage. You can really see the storms moving in through there. And this is the view from Oak Ridge. Officials there tell us some roads are nearly impassable right now with the storm causing some manhole covers to be blown off. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as well. Now, I think, do we want to get over to our Sam Luther now to see some of the damage that he's seen? And Sam, I know you've been in contact talking to a lot of different organizations, emergency management, about what we're seeing in these different counties as these storms roll through.
Yeah, Casey, earlier today it was Roane County, that Oliver Springs area that you're seeing right there that saw some trees down, a few of those roads impassable for really just a 30 to 45 minute time period. But this second shift, this second storm really impacting mainly Cumberland County and some of this Oak Ridge area in particular. A lot of the counties that I was calling to earlier today reported maybe some trees down from time to time, but really strong winds. No sort of significant damage. Cumberland and Oak Ridge, the two that I've at least spoken to today. There may be more, and if there are, give our newsroom a call and let us know. Those are the two that have had some sort of out of the norm, if you will, damage. Highway 127 out of Cumberland County in that Crossville area. The fire department that I touched base with very quickly had to leave the phone to go rush out and respond to some of those calls. We mentioned that Breckenridge area as well. We have reports. It's the only one that we've heard of so far in our newsroom of possible structure damage, potentially homes in the line of the storm that have been damaged. We are calling multiple times tonight trying to get updates. Understandably, those crews are very busy right now working those calls, trying to get their bearings as well. Hopefully we'll get some more details as to the extent of that damage later on tonight, if not in the morning as well. We know Oak Ridge, they saw some localized flooding to the point where manhole covers were actually lifted from the ground. Some of those roads impassable as well. Other places like Anderson County, Monroe, others, just some trees down, really monitoring those heavy rains. I know a lot of people tonight following Ben and Spencer and others tonight, making sure that they're getting the warnings that they can. I know in some of our northwest counties, some of those weather radios have been out. So people trying to sort of find different ways to get their information. Ben and Spencer have done a great job tonight in helping fill that gap for a lot of folks. But we're still getting more reports in, more viewer footage. Casey, I know you've been seeing a lot of it as well. People tonight just really peeking out their windows when they feel it's safe, trying to see what's all in store out their window here in East Tennessee tonight. Yes,
Sam, thanks for being on top of that. And I know we've been keeping an eye on these power outages too. And the most we're seeing right now, over 3,300 customers are out in Cumberland County. The Volunteer Energy Cooperative also seen about 3,000 without. If I zoom around here real quick, Roane County also seen about 400 customers out. And then Knox County also seen quite a few as well. So McMinn County, about there's about 475 customers without power there. So we'll keep a close eye on the power outages here as the evening continues. And a reminder that if you do lose power at any point tonight, you can always stream our newscasts and our coverage on your WVLT News app. Well, a tornado did touch down in West Tennessee today. If you take a look at this video from Jackson, the twister damaged a warehouse. It had to be evacuated. It had been evacuated, so no one was there. No one was hurt. And the tornado touched down near the Jackson Regional Airport. You can see the debris there swirling in the air as the tornado passes by the airport. And another big concern tonight, we're learning the tornado that hit Laurel County, Kentucky was an EF4. It was on the ground for nearly 56 miles as it hit Somerset in London, Kentucky, packing winds up to 170 miles per hour. Governor Andy Beshear was back in Laurel County today giving an update on the recovery efforts. He says the Commonwealth has submitted its FEMA claim, one of the fastest they've completed in the 14 weather-related disasters since he was first elected governor in 2019. 8 people remain in the hospital, with 2 still in critical condition.
I know to those that have already been traumatized, it seems unfair. How could you get hit by an EF3 or maybe an EF4 tornado and then 2 days later get hit by what could be the same? We don't get to be tired. We've got to be strong. And so if you know folks that are struggling, please put your arms around them. Please invite them into your home. Please get them to the shelters.
Yeah, this tornado was the first confirmed in Laurel County since 2012, the first to hit the London city limits since 2001. In nearby Pulaski County, it's the first tornado to take a life since 1974. And we will continue your weather